You had to reset the camera there. Okay, now we're going to switch one more time. We're going to go back to the majors. You already know where this is headed. The biggest news in the majors, next to the 3-run homer, which it really isn't big news compared to the news the day before. But Manny Ramirez was suspended for 50 games for violating the drug policy. Can you break that down for us a little bit, Supreme?
Did you hear that? Let's say that again.
Manny Ramirez
got suspended for 50 games for illegal substance abuse policy. And do we know what this illegal substance that was?
Yes.
I have my sources, and my sources tell me it was a fertility drug. It was a fertility drug that he was using that he got prescribed by his own personal doctor. But he didn't test positive for steroids. He tested positive for this fertility drug that is it's typically used by a steroid user to restart their body's natural testosterone production as they come off the steroid cycle. It's similar to the product that Barry Bonds and both Jason Giambi used, and when they basically whenever through this whole Balco investigation. So you tell me, was this guy coming off the cycle, or is this guy trying to find another way to beat the system?
Well, what it sounds like is because they do take was it like 3 tests a year?
He's taken 15 tests within the last 3 years.
So that's like about 5 a year.
Over the last 5 years, he's taken 15 drug tests, and he hasn't came up.
And that's during the season?
That's during the season.
So you telling me that let's just be cynical about it and just kind of throw it out there. Are you saying that it's possible that maybe in the off season he's juicing hard, he's working, and then he's using this stuff, cleaning his system as the season starts up to pass those tests through the year?
That's a possibility. I mean, there's really a possibility. Manny doesn't have that physical stature that we think about a steroid user or someone on these performance enhancing drugs.
Yeah, he kind of chunky.
I'm sorry.
He's kind of chunky a little bit.
Yeah, he's got that typical softball frame. You know what I mean?
Yeah, beer drinkers league.
But that doesn't mean that he's not taking a substance. I mean, he's getting older. So that doesn't mean he's not taking a substance that helps him re-energize himself to play 100 and something games a season. You know what I mean?
Right.
And now what this does is, and I don't care what Boston fans think. Boston fans can think it all they want, and say that no, this doesn't cause a scandal as far as all the championships that they won. It was was Manny juicing up and doing this. To me, in my eyes, that's what it looks like to me. It looks to me as if Manny Ramirez was trying to get past the system. He was trying to juice the system by saying, oh, no, well, I didn't get it from a team physician. I got it from a personal doctor. Well, that doesn't matter. You're a professional athlete. You need to know what goes in and it goes into your body at all times.
Right.
I have to say it. I'm an A-Rod fan. But A-Rod, he went through this whole process right here with the book just coming out and this whole steroid thing when he was with the Rangers and then when he first got with the Yankees. As you're a professional athlete, you have to know what's going into your body at all times. Because if you know Major League Baseball is going to drug test you at least 3 times a season, you know it has to go in your body at all times. If you take an over-the-counter cough medicine that has a product that is on the banned substance list, you cannot take that cough medicine.
No, you cannot.
I don't care what you say. If you want to call me about this, I don't care. If you want to call me and you want to argue your point to me, I'll take the phone call. But Manny Ramirez, you know what you were trying to do. Just admit it.
Yeah, I think about the same, man. At the point when it was first happening, when Canseco was kind of blowing the roof off of this thing, I believe that from that point, that was still about, 5 years, 6 years ago?
About that, yep.
So, in the last 6 years, people have either A, had to stop juicing, or B, had to try to do it in a different way that they, trying to evolutionize or grow or, step their game up with as far as stuff. And I mean, I don't think you can have any remorse for anybody who gets caught even slipping up because your doctor, you're rich, man. Baseball players get paid a lot of money, and Manny Ramirez gets paid a lot more than most. And your physician should be on that. That should be part of what he does to make sure that what he gives you does not put you in a compromised situation.
Well, what what I find ironic is the product that they're saying that he was using is close to what Jason Giambi and Barry Bonds were speculated using as well. And they were, Jason Giambi, did he not admit that he used steroids?
Yeah, he did, straight out.
Right, so that right there lets you know what Manny Ramirez was trying to use was a product similar, not the exact product of what they were using, but a product similar. Now I want to know, is this a physician that Manny Ramirez was going to, or was this a chemist, someone who he was trying to develop some kind of substance that's just going to give him that that little bit of edge, and maybe he's not using it to be the strongest out there on the field. He may just be using it to be able to play the next game, because like I said, he is getting older.
Yeah.
Something that helps his body heal a little bit faster. You know what I mean?
And see,
it's a banned substance. It's a banned substance across the board.
That's a very, very valid point there, actually. We're about to get back into that in just a moment. You are listening to WKUF 94.3 FM on your dial. This is the Go Dominion Sports Show with your boy Dizz, and we've got my man Supreme on the phone straight from New Jersey, hitting us with the stuff. We're getting deep on Manny Ramirez right now. We cutting into him real hard, Manny. I hope you're listening. Probably not, but somebody will call you and tell you about it. It's currently 53 degrees in Flint. It's still nice and not beautiful, but I hope you're doing beautiful things with it, man. It's not what it looks like, it's what you do, So, like my man was saying just now, basically, if you haven't heard, Manny Ramirez was suspended for 50 games for banned substance policy infringement. And what he's saying is that he may not be using it to bulk up physically. He may more or less be using it to recover after. I mean, baseball has a very long season.
Very long.
And a lot of people may not really consider it as physical a sport. I mean, I played a bunch of sports in my youth, man. They all take their toll. It doesn't matter what you play. Every athletic sport you play at a competitive level, if you're really trying to win, the more that you're trying to win, the more it takes out of you. But every sport has its own price to pay. They all have common injuries. And no matter what you say, you're getting older, you're trying to play at the highest level of the high. You have to do certain things to stay in it, or you got to retire. And he could very well be using it like that. Now, with that on the table, do you think that they are not really looking completely into a lot of these people who may be using it for those type of reasons? They more or less look for people who use it to be game breakers?
Right now, I think Major League Baseball is trying to find everyone who may even touch a substance they're not supposed to touch. I think that what Major League Baseball needs to clean up their act right now, and they're cracking down. And everybody is made example of.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's made example of. When you have speculation, you can't suspend on someone on speculation. But when you have absolute proof, that's where the suspension comes down. But Major League Baseball, like I said, needs to clean up their act. You have these players making millions and millions and millions of dollars, and yes, they have a long season. What's it, 162 games a season, something of that nature?
Man,
that's a long season, and it may not be the most physical sport. I mean, they're not out there on a football field, smashing each other, or the hockey rink, or the basketball court. I mean, you see some physicality in those games as you're watching on television, but it's still it takes a toll on one's body. 162 games plus all the traveling that they have to do. So, Major League Baseball is trying to keep everything neat and clean now because of they have this big stain on the front of their shirt right now saying, hey, we have cheaters in our sport, and our sport isn't as physical. I'm not taking anything away from the sport, but this sport is not as physical as all the other Major League sports are.
Right.